Coming up, scores and scorers from Super League in the NRL. Huddersfield Giants announce a couple of news items, one extension and one loan. And Sam Tomkins calls time on his illustrious career. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you're seeing and if you want to continue seeing more. Also, please remember we're running that Buy Me a Coffee campaign. Just donate to the site and it will go to a future Rugby League project that you, me and other Rugby League fans will decide on in the future. Anyway, let's begin with our show. And we begin with today's episode being about, first of all, the Betfred Super League's fixtures for Friday night, as Huddersfield face Castleford, Leeds face Wakefield, Lee Leopards face St Helens, and OKR face Warrington Wolves. It was Warrington that came into stride after being down 6 points to 0 through to a Frankie Alton try, and maintain their 100% record with an 18 points to 10 victory over the Robins. Another try from Frankie Halton, as well as one goal from Lachlan Coote, were the only points that Hull AI could get on the board. Warrington, though, had Tom McKaylee, Nicholson, and Paul Vaughan with his first try in Super League to thank for their tries, while Stephen Roxford kicked 3 from 3. Our second game sees Leeds Rhinos beat Wakefield 26 points to 0. Despite the scoreline being 0-0 at half time. David Fussatua got the first points on the board after he scored a try early in the second half. But then Harry Newman, Holroyd and McDonnell all went over the try line for Leeds Rhinos after David Fussatua scored a second. Reece Martin kicked over 2 goals and Aidan Caesar kicked over 1. Wakefield Trinity have been nilled for the second game in a row, which is a bit devastating for the team. On the plus side for Leeds, Harry Newman and James Bentley both returned to the side and have a match-winning performance. The shock of the night came at Lee Sports Village as the Leopards beat St Helens 20 points to 12, and that means that the champions have lost 2 in the last 2 games. Tries from Josh Charnley, Tom Briscoe, Zach Hardacre and Joe Shorrocks, who's been at the club for only 2 weeks, were enough to get Lee Leopards over the line. Hardacre converted 2 of the 4 attempts that he had. For St Helens, they had tries for Lomax in the first half, with the conversion being made by Tommy Makinson and then a penalty in the first half. Then John Bennison scored to give St Helens a 12-0 lead going into the halftime scoreline. So 20 unanswered points by Lee Leopards was enough in the second half to win the game. And finally, the live TV game saw Castleford defeated by Huddersfield at the John Smith Stadium 36 points to 6. It had been going okay for Castleford as they opened the scoring through George Lawler, playing at hooker, went over at acting halfback. But Huddersfield were rampant after that, scoring 36 unanswered points. As Chris McQueen went over for 2 tries, Will Price dazzled his way over and was the man of the match. Jake Bibby, Tui Lolohea and Leroy Cudjoe got a try apiece. We have Russell that scored 3 conversions from his 6 attempts, while he kicked over 3 penalties also. I've got to say there were some good results in that fixtures so far, with 1 game left to play, which is live today on the Our League apps. Hull FC facing Salford Red Devils. It's from 3 o'clock. It's £10 from today. If you bought it yesterday, it was £5, but it's viewed worldwide. So if you download the Our League app, you will be able to watch it. But what else has come out from the Super League game at Huddersfield last night? After the game had finished at Huddersfield Giants, they announced that they had turned down England Knights prop Matty English to a 3-year deal, keeping him at the club until at least the end of the 2026 season. The 25-year-old has made 94 appearances for the Giants since making his first team debut back in 2017. Nicknamed the Polar Bear, he won international honours with England Knights during the 2019 season and also last year. Wakefield born, he's one of the homegrown players currently playing in Huddersfield's first team. Huddersfield Giants legend Jermaine McGilvray recently made his 300th appearance for the club, and that is a milestone that English is looking to reach. English said, "It's crazy. I spoke to my mum and dad about it when I signed, and it was very much, well, the Giants is where you started off, but who knows where you'll end up. But I'm still here. I signed 8 years ago and I'm still here. It was a massive milestone for Jermaine, and if I can get anywhere near that, I'd be honoured." English's coach Ian Watson has become very delighted to secure long-term services of English to the Giants, shall we say, club. English has become a key performer for Ian Watson's forward pack, playing 22 games in 2022. Watson went on to say about this new signing of English, "Matty is a brilliant lad and a vital part of this club. He works hard and is a core member of the team dynamic. He's a big player for the Giants and has no limits to what he can achieve at this club." While Huddersfield have been delighted with the signing of English, they have decided to let another forward go out on loan, and that forward is Sam Hewitt, and the 23-year-old makes his move across Yorkshire to Wakefield Trinity. Wakefield have strengthened their forward pack with the addition of the Huddersfield back rower on an initial 2-week loan. The 23-year-old featured 14 times for the Giants last season and is still waiting for his first appearance of 2023. He will link up with the Wakefield outfit, since who are still in search of the first win of the campaign after 4 straight defeats so far. Trinity boss Mark Applegarth was forced to the loan market amid an early injury crisis which has robbed him of the likes of Kalepi Tanganoa, Lewis Murphy, who is out for the season. That could mean his last game for the club, and Max Jowett. The move also helps Wakefield a little bit more, as Friday night's defeat to Leeds sees them without a couple more players in Lee Gaskell and Sammy Soni Langi, who joined the injury list as of yesterday. However, Wakefield head coach Mark Applegarth has been very optimistic about bringing in the young forward. "I'm really pleased to be able to bring in Sam in on loan to bolster our pack over the next few weeks. Sam is a young forward who is excited to link up with our squad on Monday and rip in for us. I'm looking forward to working with him, and I'm sure he'll make his mark on the team over the next few weeks." I'd like to also thank Huddersfield for allowing Sam to join us. This signing also helps the cover in the forwards when Wakefield go to Salford Red Devils and face Hull KR in the next couple of weeks. There was also news before the game at Huddersfield, as Catalan's Dragons fullback and England captain Sam Tomkins will retire from Rugby League at the end of the 2023 season. The 33-year-old has said a persistent issue with his left knee contributed to his decision and will take an off-field role at the Dragons. Tomkins has been a serial winner in Super League, as he's won Super League's Man of Steel awards in 2020 2001 as well as 2012, and has also represented two World Cups for England, captaining his side to the semi-final in the most recent tournament last autumn. After announcing the decision in French, he said to Sky Sports, "Unfortunately, this is going to be my last season on the field. I can't do it much longer this year. It will be a push, and I know I can get out there and perform this year, but I'm going to be moving into a role off the field next year, still with the Dragons. I still love the game. I'm still passionate about the game. I want to play, and the rest of my body is saying to continue, but I've got that many issues in my left knee now that I can't go on much longer. It's been a tough week, and the club has been really supportive." Sam Tomkins burst onto the scene with Wigan Warriors in 2008 and played with them for 5 years, scoring 144 tries in his 152 games during that period, before a move down to the Southern Hemisphere with the New Zealand Warriors. Gave the fullback, scrum half, standoff, whatever position he's asked to play, he's played it, and gave him an NRL shot with 37 games between 2014 and 2015, scoring 14 tries in that period. I know this is a picture from 2013, but a return to Wigan in 2016 to 2018, with Wigan Warriors seeing him play 61 games and scoring 24 tries in another trophy-laden haul. With 3 grand final rings and 2 Challenge Cups to his name, it could have been a lot more, to be fair, as Wigan came close on few occasions. But 332 games, scoring 210 tries, including 82 games played and 28 tries scored with Catalan's Dragons, seeing him play a fantastic career. He still has the rest of the season to go, but he has had a grand final loss to St Helens with Catalan's Dragons, despite winning the League Leaders Shield at Catalans. On his career, he said, "I've always given 100% when I've gone on the field, and I'll try to give 110% every time I get out this year. Feels strange knowing that it's coming to an end. Even speaking about it, it doesn't quite feel real yet. I've got nothing to lose, and this year I want to go out as a winner. I've been very lucky to win things in my career, but my hunger now is exactly the same as it was all those years ago when I had no dodgy beard and a mullet." An England international with 33 appearances and 21 tries scored, as well as 4 Nines appearances for England, scoring 2 tries for the Nines team, Sam Tomkins has to be up there with one of the best innings of the Super League era. A player, as I said, 332 games and 210 tries in his spells both sides of the hemisphere, has seen him get glowing accolades from the rest of the rugby league community, mostly being former players, former teammates, should I say. He's one of my favourites, I must admit, and was class when he was young and developed as his years went on, now providing a playmaker role in that Catalan side. He must love it in French, as his interview announcing his retirement came in French first, and gave the club the respect it deserves, and also the fans. I hope he's going to be lauded as well as many other former players. He deserves to be top class player and a top pro. In our final part of the episode, we have a look at the NRL, as there were 3 games played in Australia with really good, shall we say, results for certain teams, and others disappointing. So after the first 3 games are out of the way, we saw the Roosters face the Warriors, the Dolphins face the Raiders, and the Storm versus the Bulldogs. There were some good stories to come out of round 1 to bring these clashes as early season important fixtures for all 3 teams involved. Like, first of all, can the New Zealand Warriors make it 2 from 2 with a Roosters side that was a bit glitchy last time out? Also, can the Dolphins make it 2 wins from 2 as the new franchise team are enjoying life in the NRL? And Melbourne were unlucky to lose last time out, but can they get their wheels back on the coach at Amy Stadium? Well, here's what happened. The first game was the Roosters winning 20 points to 12 against the New Zealand Warriors, and it was new recruit Jackson Paulo who got the tries running in as he scored on the 4th minute. This was converted by Sam Walker, and Sam Walker got a penalty on the 11th minute to make it 8 points to 0. Before Wade Egan replied on the 24th minute, with Sean Johnson slotting over the extras. It's a well-worked move that from the Warriors, using their hand speed and also their distribution skills, so that Sean Johnson spinning in the tackle, even though he could have went over and scored himself, found Wade Egan and he dived over the line. At half-time it was 8 points to 6, and it was the Roosters that came out firing shortly after half-time, with Jackson Paulo getting second of the game, and then Sam Walker going over for a try. Walker was only able to convert one of those tries, and that was the Jackson Paulo one, not his own. And in Fanua Blake went over on the 62nd minute, with Johnson converting, and Sam Walker kicked a second penalty, which gave the 20 points to 12 victory. Game 2 had a lot of drama, but it was edged out in the end by a Dolphins side who are certainly enjoying themselves. Amiso Tabuai-Fidow was the star of the show and was looking impressive since his switch to the Dolphins in the summer period, making it a wise decision early on. However, after Felice Kaufusi rocks Hudson Young with a massive hit, it resulted in a knock-on for the Dolphins and led to Jack Whiten scoring in the 13th minute. If you haven't seen that hit, go and listen to it as well as watch it. It reverberated. The next points were coming from Nick Kotrick, who scored on the 28th minute. Following that, Jeremy Marshall King was sent to the sin bin on the 33rd minute, but the Hammer scored on the 38th minute when they were down to 12 men. Not the only time that the Dolphins will be down to 12. Tom Gilbert scored in the second half to respond in Tri-State, but in the first half, Jamel Fogarty scored on the 34th minute a penalty to give a 12 points to 6 lead to the Raiders in that first half. After Gilbert's try, it was Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow and Jermaine Izako who starred. Jermaine Izako converted 3 tries and also a penalty, while Jamal Fogarty kept 2 penalties, one either side of half time, to give Canberra a bit of hope. Hudson Young was sent to the sin bin for a hip drop tackle on the 69th minute, while Sean O'Sullivan joined him at the end of the game in the bin after he was penalised. Apologies, it wasn't a hip drop tackle from Hudson Young, he was deliberately offside at the marker. At the end of it all, it was the Dolphins 20 points to 14 victors. And there were sin bins aplenty in this game as well, as a first half battering by the Bulldogs saw them win 26 points to 12 eventually against Melbourne Storm. At the time it was 16 points to 0 to the Bulldogs, and the Melbourne fans let their own team know that that wasn't acceptable. Jacob Preston got over the try line on the 8th minute after it was confirmed by the bunker, before Jacob Kiraz scored the first of his 2 tries. A well-finished effort in the right corner, when young Tuna Maipia was sent to the sin bin on the 24th minute. They made the numbers account. Josh Adokar scored before half-time, and Matt Burton converted 2 of those 3 tries. He missed the Jacob Kiraz tries conversion. He missed also in the second half Jacob Kiraz's second tries conversion on the 44th minute, with another smart finish for the winger. Tough going, and he burrowed in when receiving the ball. Jake Avarillo completed the try scoring for the Bulldogs on the 49th minute, with Burton kicking over the conversion on the 50th. This kind of helped Melbourne, as it seemed like the Bulldogs had got off the pace after they had stretched the lead to 26-0. With Nelson Asafa Solomona going over on the 52nd minute, followed by Jerome Hughes on the 57th minute. Nick Meaney converted both of the tries. Billy Army kick-out was sent to the sin bin in the 76th minute to close out the game. And what a good couple of results there. Dolphins continue to motor on, and the Bulldogs surprising everybody by beating Melbourne in their own backyard. The Roosters were always going to come back, and unfortunately for the Warriors, they came back a little too strong for them. They're both a bit clunky still, but as things go, there has been some interesting results so far. Dolphins are the form team. Who would have thought it? Well, with Wayne Bennett at the helm, of course they're going to be in with the shout. Still got 2 more games to go for the weekend, and I'll bring you those Sunday night.